All right, good evening, everyone. People who are there live, okay, quickly can confirm. All right, so to start off with things, okay, we are having the first live mock discussion, okay, which is as per the new pattern. All right, so this is precisely taking into consideration the new pattern that we have. And so the new pattern right now, we don't know the exact number of questions, okay, but the number of questions can be anywhere from 60 to 70 is what we are expecting. So if you see, okay, so all the questions right now that we have are from the CAT mock number 1, okay, which is going to be as per the new pattern. And so the new pattern right now that we've taken for this mock is 64 questions as such, okay, but there are other patterns also, okay. So people who are giving MBAP mocks, okay, they are aware of this, okay, that you will have access to other mocks where you'll be having 66 questions, okay, 68 questions, 70 questions, 60 questions, okay. So there are going to be all of different patterns. For now, for this particular mock, we have total of 64 questions that we have in this first mock. So yeah, so the section, verbal ability having 22 questions, Lrdi 20, okay, and cons was 22 questions. So this was the pattern, that was set up. And yes, the time limit remains the same. Okay, so we know that time per section, is this only. Okay, great. So if I talk in detail about the Lrdi section, okay, the Lrdi section total, okay, there was a total of 5 sets that we see. So there were 5 sets overall. Okay, there were bar graph, okay, cons, okay, the card selection, okay, graphs and table and case lists. Okay, and all the sets were having 4 questions each. Now, if at all you get 22 questions, okay, or 23 questions, okay, I think they will have some questions with a 5 questions per set, okay, like that. But if the number of questions goes beyond 24, only then I see there is a case of or rather till if it comes to 24 questions, there it can be 6 sets. So what I'm expecting overall is that overall your number of sets would be 5 sets only. Okay. So 5 sets with if it's a 20 question, it will be 4 questions. Or if it is a 22, okay, there will be 1 or 2 questions, okay, more in each of the sections. So yes, overall, if you look at the difficulty level, okay, the difficulty level was more towards easy side. Okay, the 2 sets that we see, okay, were very easy. This you could have got easily, okay, 100% accuracy you could have maintained here. Yes, 2 sets were on a moderate level, okay, and 1 set, okay, can be moderate, or for some people it can be difficult. So overall, it's a very typical kind of mock, okay, where you are having all the 3 different level of questions, okay, all the 3 different level of sets. So yes, overall difficulty of Lrdi mock 1, okay, is if you ask me, okay, I'm going to define it. Overall, the paper was at a moderate level, okay, and this is the number of correct attempts, okay, with regards to the accuracy that we're looking at. Now, if I take with one, okay, like each and every question that we will see in detail, okay. So the first set, okay, that we have, which is a set based on graph, okay. So on a particular day, okay. So here, basically, if I just give you a summary, there are 6 different trucks, okay, that is given to you here, and they are in a racing event, okay, where the total number of laps are 5. So 6 trucks are there, okay, 5 laps are there, okay. This is basically that we know, and this graph here is giving you the details of the quantity of fuel. Okay, now each truck had different mileage. It is shown that the quantity of fuel with any truck immediately before it crosses 4, okay, lap 4 was the same. That means, okay, before lap 4, the quantity that is there, okay, in terms of the fuel, okay, the quantity of fuel which is there with all the 6 trucks is the same. Okay, so that is an important part. Okay, that means whatever that they are spending after 3 laps, okay, the quantity is going to be at the same time. Perfect. Okay, now these are the questions. Okay, which truck had the least fuel? Okay, which truck had the highest fuel in this lap? Okay, these are some of the questions. And then after 6 laps, okay, then they're telling you to do some calculation in terms of the most efficient. Okay, and here, so questions is not having any more additional data. That means all the data, okay, is here. Now comes the point that for this kind of a set, okay, whether you should be solving this, considering it, okay, should this be R1 or R2 or R3? Okay, understand, look at the way the data is given to you here. Okay, so for example, if you see it is given, okay, these are, you will have to individually figure out, okay, that what is the fuel consumed by each of the truck. Okay, so there, as I said, okay, there are 6 trucks. Okay, so 6 into 5, that means there are 30 data set. Okay, there are 30 numbers that you will have to figure out from this graph. That's the first thing. Okay, you have to figure out 30 numbers from this graph. For example, okay, truck number 1, okay, in lap 1, okay, it is having a total of 25 liters. Okay, the consumption is 25 liters. From here, if you see, okay, this is okay, so from 25 to 45, you see this is 20. So this is 20, this is 25. Okay, okay, likewise you have to get the numbers for each of the tables. Okay, each of the values here. So there are 30 such values that you have to get. Now the question is asking me that which truck had the least fuel in it, okay, and when it crosses lap 1. The idea is simple. Understand, guys. Okay, here it is saying that after lap 3, it is everything at the same level. But for example, okay, if you look for truck number 1 only, it is 25 here. Okay, it is 10 here, and it is a 15 here. Okay, so if you see for truck number 1, if I do for all the 3 laps together, okay, this is coming down to a total of 50 liters that it is consuming. So after this much of consumption, whatever is the remaining part, that is going to be same with all the other trucks, right? That is going to be same with all the other trucks. So what you have to understand, okay, that means definitely here, okay, you will have different numbers for each of this. So truck number 1 is 50, truck number 2 will be something else. Okay, so you'll have separate numbers coming up. And for those numbers, okay, you after that, okay, whatever is remaining, you have to make that equal. So definitely there's a lot of calculation, okay, that is involved in this place. Okay, so when I'm going through this particular puzzle set, I would definitely not pick up this set as my first set to solve. Okay, I will look for more sets. If I am finding easier set, okay, then this, I'll come to that. But for now, this is not the set that I would want to do. Okay, and how to identify? Okay, I just told you that this is how you're supposed to read the particular set. Okay, this is where you look at the questions. Okay, you understand what is the information given to you, how much of numbers are going to be involved. Okay, here, how the calculation is going to be there. You do a quick understanding. This is what I say is called a quick scanning of things. So when you quickly scan through things, okay, is where you understand all of this. Okay, and based on this is not a question. Okay, this is not a set that you should be solving in the first go. So I'll skip this for now. Okay, I'll go to the another set. Okay, and see, okay, whether I should, because out of 5 sets, okay, if you do 2, 2.5, 3 sets, okay, that's a good number of sets, okay, to get a good percentage. So for now, the first set I have left. Okay, I have told you the reason for it. Let us read the other set. Okay, the second set. Here, what they are giving you? Here, they are giving you that there are 5 friends. Okay, they are giving you the numbers. Okay, these names. Okay, so these 5 friends. Okay, they give 3 different tests, such that each of the tests, the marks given to 5 friends were among this. So that means out of these 5 numbers only, the marks are there. No 2 friends were given same marks in same test. Okay, no 2 friends were given same marks in same test. So numbers are not going to repeat there. Okay, now they have given you information for second test. Okay, they have given you information for third test. Okay, so the marks secured by Ramesh were lower than those received by Suresh. Okay, now if I quickly read through it, also just glance through it. Okay, all these clues are more towards difference in terms of the score, numbers. Okay, some combination between numbers. Okay, so here you have different conditions. Okay, for now, if I start reading each of these, okay, we'll not be able to directly use it. Okay, what I always tell you, if there is a case, okay, where they have directly given you a number, see that. For example, if they tell you that, Mr. X, okay, scored this much marks, okay, in one of the papers. So is there anything like that? If you see quickly scanning, okay, 2 pair of friends, absolute marks, okay, in test 1, test was same. So there is no direct clue. Okay, there's all the clues are indirect. Okay, and yes, you have to make some equations. Okay, find some clues here and there, and then get a number. Typical, okay, if you ask me, that set is a very typical set. Okay, definitely people who must have done a good amount of practice, okay, on a quant based puzzle set, okay, where there's some amount of calculation required, you will be in a position to solve this. Okay, so not a difficult set. Okay, even if you look at the questions, okay, questions are very straightforward. Okay, if you see the questions here, okay, what can be the maximum sum of scored by Ganesh in all 3 tests together? Who among them cannot have this much marks? Okay, if Mukesh got this much. These are all this thing. There's only one question that has this having a condition. Other than that, all the other questions, okay, are majorly Okay, pretty straightforward. So I would, for now, when I'm going through the mock, okay, when I'm giving, scanning through this set, this is something that if you guys have made good amount of practice, as I told you, if you have solved, okay, more than 100, okay, 120 sets, okay, 150 sets, you have solved, you've given good amount of mocks, this is a set, okay, that you can do. Okay, but again, this is a doable set that I'm going to mark. Okay, the first set that I marked, okay, I did not mark that as a doable set. This is a doable set that I'm marking. But what I'm doing for now is, again, is this going to be the first set that I'm going to solve? That is dependent on the other sets that I have in my mock. Okay, so I would mark, okay, in my notes somewhere, okay, I would mark this as a doable set. Okay, that this is a doable set. But depends, okay, where in my sequence is this set going to come? Okay, because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, this definitely, okay, I found it as a time consuming set, okay, where there's a lot of calculation that I saw here. Okay, this is doable, but I don't know about the other 3 sets. So I'm going to look at the other 3 sets and accordingly take a decision, okay, now where will I attempt this particular set? Okay, great. So if I go ahead, now this is the third set, okay, that we're looking at. Okay. So third set, okay, that we're looking at, let me quickly read through it. So this is some guy who is playing with cards, okay, 11 cards, okay. So might be typical about the deck of cards and all that. Let me see further. So C1 through C11 is with him, okay. So the numbers are given in terms. So the cards are defined based on the number, okay. So card number 1, C1, C2, C3, like this. Among these 11 cards, okay, there are 5 different colors of card. Okay, so these are the 5 colors. Okay, so one parameter is the number, second parameter is the color. Okay, I know that. Such that there are exactly 3 red, okay, 2 blue, 2 yellow, 2 white, and 2 black. So red is 3. Okay, red is the only one which is 3 cards. Okay, and rest all are 2 colors. Okay, perfect. So total colors are 5. Okay. All right. So Mr. Ernest, okay, picked up the following cards combination for different games. So they have given you games. Okay, so game 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and this is a combination. Okay, so because Mr. Ernest picks up 6 cards, such that any game contains exactly 2. Okay, that means for red, we have total of 3 cards. From 3, okay, he's going to pick up 2 cards. And blue is 1, yellow is 1, white is 1, and black is also 1. So rest all, okay, out of 2, he's going to pick up 1. Right? These are the 5 colors, okay, that we just saw. So blue, yellow, what is there, white is there, and a black is there. Okay? So we know this part. All right. So till now, the information is pretty simple, straightforward. Okay. Now they have given you condition, these combinations of, okay, the number of cards. Okay. Great. Okay, if you read, okay, they have not given you anything with regards to if this card is selected and that is not selected. Okay, if this is selected, then that is also selected. Nothing for now. Pretty simple, straightforward information that we have. Okay. All right. So if I see the question now, questions are so directly this coming to questions. Okay. So till now, okay, if you see, there's not a lot of conditions. Okay, things that you see here, and that, okay, can make you confused. That, okay, what to do. If you look at the questions, okay, which of the following pair of cards are definitely of the same color? Okay, that means you have to make a match between the number and the color, right? That is what you have to do. The number and the color, okay, that is the match that you have to do. Okay, so if you see if one of the 2 black cards was picked up, okay, 3 of the 4 games, okay, then which of the following is a black card? Again, okay, which of the following is a red card? So in short, okay, you look at all the questions and what you understand that you have to find a relationship between the number of the card, okay, and the color. That means C1 is a red color or a blue color or whatever. Okay, which color is C1? Okay, which color is C2? You have to figure out. Now, initial go, you might, if you ask me again, what is, so the main point here is towards the starting point, okay, which a lot of students might face problem. So if you are clear with the starting point, okay, that is going to help you. Okay, how would you start? Okay, now what I see, C1 is here, C1 is here, okay, and then C1 is not there. Okay, so what happens? Okay, what you need to understand, okay, that when C1 is there, okay, let's see, C1 is coming up with C2 also, C3 also, C4 also, C5 also, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, but when C1 is there, you are not having C10 and you are not having C11. That means C1 is not coming up with C10 and 11. Understand that? Okay. Similarly, if I try to make a combination with C2, okay, wherever C2 is there, so C2 is here, okay, that you see. Where else is C2? C2 is here. Okay. So C2 is matching up, okay, with C1. It is matching up with C3, okay, with 4 also, with 5 also, with, okay, 6 is not there. So C2 is not matching up with C6, okay, and if you see C2 is matching up with 7, 8, 9, okay, and 10 and 11. So C2 is not matching up with 6. Like this, okay, you can figure out which card is not matching up with which other card. So, you know, C3 is not matching up with someone, okay, C4 is not matching up with someone, okay, this itself will give you a lot of clear picture, okay, see that itself will give you a lot of clear picture, okay, that is important because in the process you will eventually understand, okay, that is there any card, okay, which is matching up with everyone, okay, can you check that? If that is the case, okay, let me just, you know, let me just take a case where I'm taking, let's say C5, okay. So I see that C5 is matching up with C1 here, okay, C2 here, okay, C3 here, okay, you have C4 is not there. So C5 is not matching up, okay, C5 is not matching up with C4, okay, that we see. Sorry, C5 is matching up with C4 here, C5 is here also. So it's matching up with C4 also, okay, and then C6 is also there, and then you see 6, 7 is also there, okay, 6, 8 is also there, 9 is also there, 10 is also there, and 11 is also there. So what do you understand from this? That C5 is matching up with everyone. C5 is matching up with everyone, okay. C5 is matching up with everyone. Similarly, okay, you can figure out, okay, more such cards which is matching up with more people. Now, more other the most of the other cards. So what it is helping you here, okay, why it is helping you here? Because once you figure out the cards which is matching up with most of the other cards or rather all of the other cards, okay, you will know that, oh, you will be able to figure out that how can this matching thing happen. Okay, because your job is to eventually understand, okay, that no, you are going to have, you have this combination of numbers which is given to you, this game 1, game 2, game 3, game 4, and you also know that in a particular game, okay, this is the exact combination of colors. So you know, okay, there are going to be 2 red, 1 blue, 1 yellow, 1 white, 1 black, and then you know that C1, C4, okay, all of these numbers are also given to you here. So what eventually happens here is where if you just see, okay, where every time you should have 2 red should always be there. Okay, so once you see someone is there with all the other cards, okay, definitely this card becomes red. Okay, so likewise, okay, you can just figure out that. So I mean, still I'm considering this to be on a moderate side. I'm not saying that this is a very, very easy set. No. Okay, this is a moderate. Okay, I would put this under the category of R2. So till now, if you see, okay, I have seen the first 3 sets. Okay, I've seen the first 3 sets, set number 1, 2, 3. And according to me, okay, the first set was a difficult one, so I will put that as R3. Okay, the second one was again a moderate level. This is again a moderate level, which is going to take some of my time. So R3, R2, R2. So till now, I have not figured out, okay, any of the R1 sets, but I have 2 more sets left. Okay, set number 4 and 5 is left. What you can do wrong here? What you could have done wrong is you could have started with any of these sets, okay, and then spent, let's say, 10 minutes on that. That would have gone wrong in your mock. So if you guys have done that, okay, that is a wrong thing, okay, that you should have done. Why? Because I always tell you the first 5 to 6 minutes is where you spend on identifying the R1 sets. Okay, the round 1 set is where you have to identify. Okay, so take 5 to 6 minutes time, okay, and work on identifying which set is easy, which set is not easy. Okay, that's the important part. So total of, like, you know, in terms of just the way I have skimmed up, okay, I would have taken total of around 3 to 4 minutes and figured out that till now, okay, all these 3 sets that I've seen, okay, none of them are at a R1 level. And with that, I would have gone to the next set, okay, and see, and then I would have tried to see that if there is a R1 set, okay, in the last two sets or not. If it is there, okay, I get the right set to start off my puzzle. Okay, if the other two sets are also R2, okay, then that means, okay, the overall paper level is on a very difficult set because I have not got an easy set at all. And based on that, okay, I'm going to figure out, okay, that among the R2 sets, which is the easier one. Okay, great. So let's start with this. Okay, this is more of like a bubble graph. Okay, usually they'll put a circle around it. Okay, and that is how they will give you the data to be studied. So let me quickly read. Okay, so Raghu owns 5 categories, 5 category A routers. Okay, these are the A routers, which is router number 1 to 5. 5 category B routers. So router number 6 to 10. Okay, this is this. Each router has a different downloading speed. Okay, which is measured as the data downloaded or data used in 1 second. Okay, so obviously data downloading speed they have given you here as MB per second. So this is MBs upon second. Okay, that's how you will read it. Okay, following scatter plot shows the data used in MBs and downloading speed of router in Mbps. Okay, so now their data used is MBs. This is part, okay, that you see here. Okay, data used is MBs. And this part that you see here is the downloading speed, which is Mbps. Okay, great. Then they are giving you the numbers also here. It is given that the download speed of any router is a multiple of 2. That means here, if you see, let's say R1 is going to be 16. Okay, like this. Okay, R6 is slightly this side. Okay, so I would take this as a 38 or something, 38 or 36. Okay, like that. Okay, and the data used for any router is a multiple of 50. Okay. What do you understand from this is this number can be, okay, this for R1, it is going to be 550. Sorry, so for R7, it is going to be or 750, like that. So how you're supposed to read the table? Okay, I have given you that clarity. Okay, so they have given you this information, which is in terms of download speed and the data used. Okay, great. If I look at the questions, which router was used for maximum time? So they're telling me to calculate, okay, the time that a router is being used. Total time in second used for all categories, okay, of B. So again, they're telling me to find out the total time. This time they're telling me to find for all routers of category B. Total time usage again. So basically, you see all the 4 questions are telling you to calculate time. Now you see that how can we calculate time in this case? Okay. If that calculation method is simple, it's easy, definitely this is an easier set to do. Okay, if you find, okay, the way to calculate time factor is difficult or it's time consuming, this is going to be another R2 set. So how do we look at that? All right, great. So if you look at the time factor, how much time, okay, it should be taking. Okay, so how do you define it? So as I told you, you have download speed, okay, which is nothing but Mbps, which is MBs per second, and the other part is data, okay, which is nothing but MBs itself. Okay, you have these 2 things. Now, how do you figure out? Obviously, this seconds is the time factor, right? This is the time factor. So what do you do? If you do, let's say, data, okay, data divided by the delivery speed. If you do this, which is nothing but MBs upon MB per second. So obviously this MB will be cancelled out and the second is going to come up. Okay, so this is how you will get the second, which is going to be time, right, everyone? So the way to calculate time here is where you look at the data used upon the download speed. That's it. And if you see here, all the values are very clearly given to you here. And this question is a matter of just 10 fractions. Then this question just becomes a fact of 10 fractions. What is this 10 fractions? Okay, let's say for R1, okay, you know that the data used here is 550. So for R1, okay, it is going to be 550 upon 16. This is going to be the time for data 1. Sorry, router 1. Okay. Similarly, if I look for router number 2 is here. Okay, this is going to be what, 14. Okay, here in terms of download speed, and this is 15. Okay, 1500. So 1500 upon 14. This is for router number 2. So likewise, you will come up with total of just 10 different fractions because of the 10 10 routers that you have. So here I understand that this is an easier set. Okay, why? Because just simple calculation of 10 fractions, okay, is going to give you, answer for 4 questions, and that is making this set as a easier set. Okay, that is why this set is the easiest. So so that's why, okay, I would right now mark this as R1. Okay, and based on this, okay, is where I'm going to look at the last set. Okay, because now I have at least got to know that out of the 4 sets, which is the one which is the most easiest one. Okay, in fact, which router was used for the maximum time. Okay, how do you figure out that? Okay, now maximum time, okay, that means, let's say, okay, you know this, okay, you know that it is about, okay, data used upon the download speed. This is how you figure out the time, right? Now, when can this be maximum? When can this be maximum? When obviously, okay, this is going to be minimum, okay, and this is going to be on a higher side, right? Now, if you see here, okay, you have R3, which has got a less download speed on a higher side here. And then you have R2, okay, which is again, okay, the download speed is still less, okay, and the data use is high. So definitely it's going to be between R3 and R2, it is going to be there. You just do a quick comparison of the fraction, okay, and you will get the answer. Right, that's it. That's so simple, okay. So that's why, okay, it's the easier set, okay, R3, and as I told you, R3 and R2. So R2 is not there only in the option, okay, great. That means the answer is R3, okay. Simple way to look at it. So that's how you identify an easier set, okay, and that's how you actually attempt a particular question, okay. Great. So I think, okay, the further method remains the same, okay, and that's what make this particular set easy. So right now, out of the 4 sets, this is the most easiest of the set, okay, that I could figure out. Now coming to the last set, okay, great. All right, so Varun says, okay, that in second question of this set, I got answer 19. Actually, will I get CAT2 for a difference of? Ideally, you should not. Okay, ideally they don't ask you to put decimal figures also. Okay, so they will just tell you to approximate it to the highest, the higher denominator. So if you got a 99.56, okay, ideally, okay, a 99.7 if you're marking, okay, should give you the right answer. So I think, okay, yes, Varun, okay, you had raised this point, okay, but so ideally in case of CAT, okay, that should not happen. Okay, great. Now looking at this set, okay, in the beginning of the game, okay, again there's a game question, okay, so Mr. Matthew had a total of this much amount, okay, with him in tokens of exactly 3 types, okay, so all right. So, okay, looks like a set where you have a number of points, okay, a number of notes of each of these. Okay, so 100 rupee note, 500 rupee note, 1000 rupee note, okay, that should come up to a 1300. So typically looks like that. Okay, the game he is playing has exactly 8 rounds. Okay, so the 8 rounds, okay, overall, okay, each round he's using only the tokens present, okay, with him at a time of playing the round. Okay, all right, okay. So in each round, he's using only the tokens present with him at the time of, okay. So that means whatever is the tokens, okay, that only he has. Okay, don't consider that he might be having something extra. In each round, the token that he receives, if any, are also all the 3 types mentioned above. That means if he's earning something in the game, okay, let's say, that means he's going to earn in terms of this 100 rupee or 500 or 1000 euros, basically, okay, in terms of that denomination only. Further, in each round, Mr. Matthew gives the tokens first before receiving any token. That means first he is giving, okay, and then he is receiving. Okay. All right. The following table provides 8 rounds, the number of tokens of each type that he gives and the number of tokens of each type that he receives. Okay. So they have given you a table. Great. So this is the table that you have. Okay. Here, okay, the rounds are mentioned. Okay, round number 1 to round number 8. Token is given to you. Tokens given. Okay, what is the number of nodes? Okay, for each of these. And these are tokens received. Okay, what is the number of tokens for each of these currencies? Okay, it's also given to you. So typically, if you see, okay, they have kind of given you everything till now, whatever they told. Okay, they told that it's a game. Total amount is 13,000. Okay, 100, 500,000 are the different multiples. Okay, you know that in each game, how much token he has given of each denomination, how much he's received back. You know all of that. Okay, so typically, okay, if you see, okay, so everything is there for now that I understand. Okay, yes, there will be some calculation. Okay, let me look at the questions. questions are asking that what is the total number of tokens that he has with him, okay, in the beginning of the game. Okay, firstly, what I see good part here is you have 3 questions, okay, which are theta questions. That's a good sign. Okay, because I don't have, okay, much to lose in terms of this set. Okay, what is the total number of tokens with him at the end of the game? Okay, what is the highest number? Okay, so they are telling you to just calculate the number of tokens of each of these currencies. Okay, so can be 400, okay, 500 and 1000. What is going to be the number there? So they are telling you to calculate that. At what point during the game, okay, would we have at least 6,000 1,000 tokens with him? Okay, great. So set is not giving me any additional information in the questions. Okay, that is why, okay, I think the set seems to be easier one. What I understand, how am I going to approach this? Okay, look at the approach. Approach is going to be very simple. Okay, the total has to be 1300. And how is this 1300 going to come up? This is going to be the 100 rupees into X plus 500 into Y, and obviously 1000 rupees into Z, right? This is exactly how it is going to be. So you just have to figure out the value of X, Y, and Z that multiplies with obviously these numbers and gives you a total of 1300. Okay, gives you a total of 1300. You just have to figure out that. Now, how do we come up with that figure? Okay, let me look at that part also. The point is very simple here, okay, that at this point of time, the number of tokens that you see, okay, if you just study this table, okay, you see that there are 7 tokens that he's giving here, okay, and that means the number that you can understand, okay, here he's giving 8 tokens, okay, of 100, okay, and if I just see that, so I'm looking at bigger values for 500, okay, if you see he has 2, so the number is still small, okay. For 1000 he has 5, okay, here, and here is 2 and all that. Okay, what I understand from this, okay, look at the way you should be studying this is definitely in terms of the 100 rupee notes, okay, that I see the number is more, okay. The number is more, the number is bigger, okay, and the relatively the number for 500 and 1000 is slightly less. Now, how can you solve this? Okay, in a more smarter approach here is to start off with this. Okay, I'm just going to keep a track of the number. Okay, let's say I'm not taking off the ultimate value. I'm only looking at the absolute number. So it starts with 0 here. Okay, and then you have 3 which is getting added. Okay, and then 7 is giving. Okay, so what is happening? Okay, so plus 3 is happening, minus 7 is happening. Okay, then again a plus 2 is happening. So obviously there is something in the beginning which is there that I don't know. Okay, initially how much is there that I don't know. Okay, but total I look at the difference here. Okay, so here 0 is getting is giving, but he's adding plus 1 again. Here 0 is giving, okay, but plus 4 that he is doing. Okay, this is there. Here there's a minus 6 happening. Okay, then there's a plus 1 happening. Okay, minus 4 is happening. Okay, here plus 1 is happening. Minus 8 is happening, and a plus 2 is happening here. Great, and after that, okay, the last 2, if you see, are both 0, 0. Now, based on this, what do if I do a total sum of this, okay, if I do a total sum of this, I will come up with the number, okay, which is there in terms of that how much is the final increase or plus and all that, okay. But what do I understand here? Okay, at any point of time, if you look at the cumulative figure, okay, you will get the figure. Okay, that means the number cannot go less than in a negative. Obviously, let's say here you cannot have he had only 5 notes and out of 5 he gets 7. Is that going to be possible? That is not going to be possible. So if we just look at the cumulative, okay, I'm just going to look at cumulative. Okay, whatever is that number is, okay, here is going to have a plus 3 out of that. Okay, here it is going down. Okay, a minus 4 from there. Okay, a minus 4 and 2 is minus 2. Okay, this is going to be minus 1 here. Then he's adding 4, so this becomes plus 3. Then minus 3 is happening. Okay, then there is a plus 1, that means it's a minus 2. So what I'm doing, I'm looking at cumulative right now. Okay, I'm looking at cumulative right now. Okay, so then you have a minus this. Okay, minus 4. Okay, that means going to minus 6. Plus 1 is minus 5. Okay, and then minus 5, minus 8. Okay, now this is going to be a bigger negative value. Okay, so this is going to be a total of, okay, minus 13. Okay, and then plus 2, that is going to have a minus of 11. What do I understand from this? Can you have, what can be the value, okay, for the maximum that we, or rather minimum possible number of 100 rupee notes? What can be the minimum possible number of 100 rupee note? Okay, it can be 13. You cannot have less than 1300 rupee notes in this case. Okay, I hope you all guys understand, okay, that how we are coming to this. We're just looking at the total movement of the number of currencies, okay, the number of notes. And then we look at the cumulative figure, because the cumulative figure is ultimately giving you that in every game, what is the plus or the minus that is happening. Okay, the net basically. Okay, so you should figure out the net, okay, for each of the currency notes. So, and that's how I figure out that, okay, in round number 7, okay, round number 7, there are 13 cumulative notes, okay, that we see is reducing. So he should at least have 13 notes. So the bare minimum that he will have is 13 here. Okay, the bare minimum that he will have is 13. If this is 13 here, similarly, I can figure out the number for 500. Similarly, I can figure out the number for 1000 rupee notes, right? Perfect. If you try to do that, okay, you will get a number, okay, in terms of, you know, what is the exact number of notes, okay, that you're getting overall. Sorry, the overall amount. Okay, if that amount is perfectly matching up with 13,000, okay, if it is perfectly matching with 13,000, that means you have got the right figures of X, Y, and Z. Okay, so what you're doing first, you are figuring out what is the minimum value of X, minimum value of Y, and a minimum value of Z. That's what you're doing. Okay, so find the minimum value. Now, let's say if you get, okay, if you get the minimum after adding all the, you know, the minimum values of X, Y, and Z, let's say, for example, I have not done the entire thing, but I'm just saying, let's say, for example, you get a total of 12,500. That means there can be two cases. One case where you can have one more value. Okay, what is the minimum value? Okay, you can have a Y plus 1. That can be one case. The second case can be whatever is the value of X, okay, that can be X plus Y. Okay, this can be two cases. But let's say if you are getting, okay, 12,700 something, that means the only possibility is where you have to add 3 numbers to X, right? If you are getting, let's say, 12,000, okay, so this can be, have 3 cases where it can be, 1,000 rupees can be added, 500 can be added. Okay, in fact, okay, there are multiple cases. So one, where you can have, okay, 2,000, okay, and then, sorry, 1,500 and 1,000, 100 rupee notes, okay, like this, 500 rupee notes. Okay, or you can have 1,000 rupee notes that can get added. So that based on the case, but that purely depends on the minimum value of X, Y, and Z. And how to figure out the minimum value? It is there. So if you ask, okay, the numbers are very small, okay, the question is not giving you a lot of heavy calculations, okay, no, it's a simple case of addition, okay, and cumulative that we are doing. And the in a very less time, okay, if you can see that I could calculate for 100 rupee note, that means the same way I can get it quickly for 500 and 1,000 rupee note as well. Okay, and that makes this set, okay, as a easier set, okay, according to me, okay, that you should be ideally solving. So for me, this would again be a R1 set. Okay, so I've got 2 R2 sets. Okay, R1 sets. Okay, and 2 R2 and 1 probably a R1 set. R3 set. So if I just take you to the start, okay, where I just mentioned about the different sets here. So I take this, okay, this as R1, okay, this as R1. Okay, these two are R2 for me. Okay, and this one is a round 3. So ideally, okay, like ideally I would have spent a 5 minutes time, 5 to 6 minutes time in the initial time to identify, okay, which is the R1, R2, okay. And by identifying these 2 sets, okay, and then spending, let's say, easily, I think, okay, 8 to 10 minutes, okay, is enough to solve all the questions of these 2 sets, okay. So let's say at the end of 25 minutes, okay, you would have easily got 2 sets correct. Okay, 10 minutes for each of these sets, okay, and 5 minutes that goes for analyzing the initial, which set to solve and all that. Okay, even with some spillover, okay, let's say you reach to a 30 minutes, okay, you have 10 minutes more left. And definitely from here, you could have managed to get, okay, from here or here, okay, whichever you find it more convenient. Let's say if you're more comfortable with the quant-based puzzle, okay, attempt that. If you are more good with selection-based puzzle, do that. Okay, you could have managed to get one or two questions, okay, from there also. Even if you are able to attempt, okay, a total of around, let's say, okay, as I told you, okay, around 11 to 12 questions, okay, that definitely with 90% accuracy, that means one question going wrong here and there, okay, that will still give you a 99 percentile, okay, for this particular section, okay. And for a 98, 95 to 99, okay, or 98, okay, 8 to 10 questions, okay, where I would easily say that definitely these two sets should be the one that you should have attempted with 90% accuracy also, okay, you could have got somewhere between 95 to 98. For people who would have got only one set correct, okay, so definitely if you get, okay, attempt any of these set also, like, pick up one of these sets, okay, and get the entire set right, you would be anywhere from 80 to 85%. That one set, okay, would have given you 80 to 85%. Okay, so that's all, okay, that I come up with the LR discussion. Okay, I hope you guys are clear with how you would have attempted better, okay, and how you could have scored a good percentile, a good score in this particular section. Okay, one thing remember, guys, okay, that by any chance, okay, if you would have done a wrong set selection, okay, definitely that would have costed you a lot, because you have only 40 minutes time. Okay, as I told you, the pattern that we are looking in this particular mock, okay, is a 20 to 22, sorry, 20 to 20 and 22 questions. Okay, so in 40 minutes, 20 questions, definitely, okay, and with this kind of a mix, okay, where you get two easy, two moderate, and one difficult level, okay, is a doable puzzle, okay, is a doable section overall. Okay, so it's all about identifying that right set. Okay, in this case, both the easier set, okay, were on fact the last two sets. Okay, so don't get disheartened in such case. Okay, that's what you have to learn in your mocks eventually. And when you give more and more mocks, okay, that's where you build up this experience at how to give mocks. Okay, what is the strategy to be followed and all. Great. On that note, okay, I think, okay, we can start off with the verbal section discussion. Okay, I think Kamini ma'am is already up. Hello, ma'am. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. You're audible now.
Okay. All right. So what I'll do is, okay, I will stop my screen sharing here. Okay, ma'am, you can. I'll just make you the host as well. Just a minute. Yeah, ma'am. Are you able to share the screen?
Just a second. Let me just check once. Yeah, of course I can share. I can share now. Okay, so I think you guys have a better idea that how to solve, LRTI, how to go for it, and how you can improve your score, and how you can boost your score, and how to go for identification of questions. Okay, so you have learned a lot. So let's just give it a break little so that you will refresh a little, and we'll start with our mock discussion related to verbal. Okay. So I will keep it light only. We won't go through much. Obviously, the number of questions this year will be 22 only. So there is a kind of, I would say, take it very positively, because even if the difficulty level increases, we still have more time with us. Okay. So earlier, for each question, we were having 1 minute, some seconds. This year, just for having the entire 2 minutes for one question, we are like having, we just need 4 minute extra. That's it. Otherwise, we are fairly having 2 minutes for every single question. Okay. So just see this particular time management in this way, that if one RC is having 5 questions, it means how many approximate time I'm getting for solving one RC, that is 8 to 10 minutes, which is way more than required. Okay. So what we can do is that if this is happening, what exactly is happening? I'm getting like 8 minutes to solve one single RC. This is way too, more time to solve an RC ideally, if you ask me. So things, I think they will improve. This will also provide a boost to your score. The only problem is we don't know what to expect out of these 22 questions. I mean, earlier we were pretty sure that, okay, 26 questions are there. These many questions will be of RCs. These many questions will be of VA. And we were somehow aware with the difficulty level also, as per looking at the number of questions. So this here, suppose this is actually an examination. Okay, we are taking it like that. This is not a mock discussion, but this is actually a real examination we are going through. You don't have number of, you don't have that table with you that this will be the moderate one, this will be the easier one, and this will be the difficult one, because that will make things easier. So what we're going to do today is, as this is our very first discussion on this new pattern, so what we're going to do is we're going to just start it. Okay, exam में तो वो थोड़ी देंगे that this is बेटा ये थोड़ा easy है, attempt it first, this is difficult, attempt it later. That won't happen in examination. Okay, you have to judge it by yourself. Okay, so first what you can do is, see, if you are having extra time, you better utilize it in a better way. You can easily dedicate 30 seconds to 40 seconds in just going through the questions. Okay, now what is going through the questions? You can actually see, you can analyze that how many questions are there in VA and how many questions are there, exact number of questions in RC. How many RCs are there and how many questions are there in the RC. Okay, so first you're gonna be that only. Okay, one more thing, if you guys have any question, any doubt, any query, please make sure that you put it in the chat box. I will take every single question, I will take every single doubt of yours. Okay, whether it is related to your cat overall, I mean specifically to verbal only, or some specific question related to any topic. Okay, do not ask once in LRDI to me, I'm really bad with it. Okay, so chalo, let's discuss it. अभी हम जाते हैं सबसे पहले वाले पे. ओके, व्हाट आई फर्स्ट सी इज आरसी. ठीक है, हम हमारे साथ में टाइमर लेके चलते हैं. दिस इज 1 आरसी. व्हेन आई सी एक जैसे I have a glance of it, what I see that it is in language and it doesn't seem that much difficult. I can easily say that I'm going to attempt it. Okay, this is supposed to be your speed in deciding whether you should attempt it or not. So when I go for the second set, somehow this one seems relatively complicated from the previous one. Okay, so first seems easy, second seems little, but this shows that if second part seems little difficult, you will have a link. What happens that when you will start with a complex with a complex structure, or when a difficult passage is there, you will start with a difficult paragraph or like that. What happens, you find it little difficult to have grasp over it. Okay, because the very first paragraph is there, you need to understand a lot of things. Somehow you get that fear that, will I understand it, should I go for this? So there are a lot of question marks in your brain. And trust me on this thing, that examination is not only your preparation, it is your subconscious mind too, not just conscious one. Okay, back of the mind में ये चल रहा है कि आएगा या नहीं, होगा या नहीं. लेकिन अगर पहला वाला easy है ना, so what happens that you have a grasp over it, you are familiar with the topic, you are familiar with that style, you are familiar what the author is talking. So when the later part is little difficult, I mean it's not that difficult, just relatively I'm talking about, 19-21 का फर्क जो हम बोलते हैं. Okay, so it is not that difficult, but somehow, but this is gonna be a very smooth shift. एक होता है कि हमें कुछ पता नहीं, we just starting with a very heavy one, and then they are पहले ABCD सीखा, फिर दो cat dog ये सब सीखा, and then we are just going for some heavy words, more like that. So it will gonna be a really smooth shift, जैसे हमारा स्कूल से 1st to 10th का होता है. Okay, now let's see the number of questions. Questions are a little easy, it means they are to the point. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, decent number of questions. It means I have one thing in my mind, that this is the passage I have to go for first. Okay, once I'm finishing by looking at the questions, once I'm finishing that, how many questions are there, how many RCs are there, how many questions are there in the RC, I have to go for this very first. Okay, you can see the pattern. You can pause the screen later, obviously you can rewatch it. So you can pause the screen, you can read it, and you can see that why we are rating it as the most easiest one. Okay, now see this one, decent. If I go through the language, because abhi itna verbal पढ़ के we are so familiar with the English language, we are so familiar with the alphabets, we can easily grasp, okay, how familiar the words, how familiar the context looks to us. Okay, later context can be a little confusing, but thoda to काम करना पड़ेगा, obviously. They won't give you the prepared dish, you have to work at least a little. They can give you a ready mix packet, but you have to cook it yourself. Okay, chalo. Next can be a little kind of time consuming. But if we see the number of questions, if you see the pattern, if you read the context, you'll realize that from the previous one, this one is slightly difficult. Slightly, I'm not saying very difficult, slightly difficult. Okay, so if we have a better RC, which is going to be our third one, then we'll go first. We'll go for first RC, and then we'll go for third RC. Okay, so first we have to go for it. Now, इसका पूरा decision is entirely based on the third RC. Okay, and the number of questions it's having. Number of question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Okay, so we are having basically 5 questions in that too. Now, this one seems pretty short paragraph, not that difficult too. If you're pretty familiar, thoda fact based way, you are pretty aware with, okay, I can go for science and all, not very science deeply rooted into science, but still I'm aware with terminology, still I'm familiar with such kind of reading. So this is supposed to be our second choice. Okay, first let's see the number of questions. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So there are 4 questions, and if we say that the questions are also pretty good, okay, pretty direct, and the passage is also short, and the difficulty level is not that much. So I can see that there are 3 passages, 2 are containing 5 questions. Okay, so RC number 1, RC number 2, and RC number 3. Having number of questions 5. Having number of questions 5. Having number of questions 4. If I have to rate all of them, let's not rate them. They are saying somewhere like easy to moderate one only. But we have to rate them in their sequence. So this is the easiest one, which we have to go for first. If I have to compare between these two, I'll go for fourth one. Why? Though the number of questions are less, the difference is only of one single question, but the level is easy and it is short too. Okay, so I have an upper hand in this one. So this is worth attempting. Obviously, I'm going to go for this one also when I'll come later on it. Now, why I'm doing this, that why I feel that all 3 are doable, then still why am I asking you to skip at least one? I'm doing this because when you dedicate your time on 2, जो timer है वो चल रहा है and somewhere आपका time कम हो गया. So what happens that when we go for the third one ना, we actually have that panic situation. Why it happens? Because we have in back of the mind, again, please consider आपका जो दिमाग का वो है ना जो कुछ चलता रहता है, please consider that. Please do not ignore that. Okay, so what happens that when something is going back in your mind, you won't be able to concentrate, and जब VA section पे आओगे, you will be in that panic stage. Okay, so now you have to be like satisfied. I have attempted 2 RCs which were pretty easy, and chances are really high that you'll end up solving all the questions related. So currently, out of 14 questions, I have already solved 9, and accuracy के लिए I'm a little confident because passage जो था वो अच्छा था. So somewhere time, Sally, please elaborate your question. Time related to this. Related to what? Okay, so proceeding further. Okay, so that's why I'm asking that you need to go for first 2 RCs, which are the easiest one among them. Okay, and then we'll switch to VA section. Now, why we are switching to? Because then we'll be having such score with us and we'll be a little satisfied. And I know that I have to come back. Okay, and thing is that you won't be wasting much time, because what happens जब हम पूरा passage पढ़ते हैं, it is relatively more time consuming than the individual questions. Okay, so you will be solving individual questions, so they are easier to skip. For example, I read this and I realized that this one seems एक बार पढ़ा, you felt that कि बहुत ज़्यादा difficult है, you can skip it. You can directly skip it कि यार बहुत ही ज़्यादा difficult है, मुझे नहीं लगता ये होगा. So skip it. Now you are not, by skipping one RC, you are actually skipping 5 to 4 questions. But when you skip these questions, you are skipping only one. That's the difference. Okay, then you can keep solving, and then you can come back to those questions which you feel that you can do it later. and then you can directly come to your RC. Okay. Okay, so number of questions. Summary is the easiest one you can expect. Trust me, all you need is a little practice. Abhi bhi if you feel कि summary difficult लग रहा है, नहीं हो रहा है, trust me, it is all your practice. Summary is the easiest one among all VA questions. Others, parajumble, odd one out, can be to a level, they can be a little confusing, but not summary. Okay, all you need to do is you simply need a little practice. That's it. Okay, so please don't take this thing lightly. Now, proceeding further, we'll solve some questions also then. 2 summary questions, I have to go for them. 3 summary questions, okay, pretty decent. And question sequence from coherent, decide on the proper order of the sequence and the key to the sequence of 4 numbers as your answer. Okay, so paragraph symbol is there. Doable. Whenever you see, it seems to you na कि language थोड़ा easy है, बन रहा है, हो जाएगा, just do it, don't skip it. Okay, थोड़ा सा confusion होगा, but just do it. आधा करके छोड़ दो, बाद में सोचना कि ठीक है, fresh mind से बहुत ज़्यादा हो रहा है, because sometimes it happens that we keep on doing it, and eventually it becomes so confusing that we just get frustrated. So in that case, what you can do, you know that this particular sentence will be first, you know that this 2 sentences will make a pair, and then after that you are working, and you couldn't find a link, skip it at that point. Do not overdo it. Okay, this is the most important thing which you need to keep in your mind, because many times students commit this mistake कि उन्हें लगता है यार पूरा तो हो गया, just about 1 sentence or just about 2 sentences, that keep on doing it. Don't do it. Frustration है, panic है, timer चल रहा है, pressure build up होगा. So don't commit this mistake. Skip करो, दूसरे क्वेश्चन पे जाओ, एंड ऐसा अगर सिचुएशन आता है, जस्ट कीप वन थिंग इन योर माइंड कि नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन कभी भी पैरासिंबल का मत लेना. आई एम अगेन रिपीटिंग, व्हेनेवर सच सिचुएशन अकर्स that you get so stuck with one type of question, so never go for the similar kind of question next. Okay, because same तरीके से फिर से दिमाग लगेगा and it may cause a little frustration, जो शायद negative impact कर सकता है आपके पेपर पे. So one thing you need to keep in your mind is that whenever you get stuck in certain kind of question, like for example parasymbol, you identified the first sentence, you identified a pair, there are 2 sentences which you are struggling with, next के लिए go for the summary question, go for the odd one out. Okay, preferably if कोई choice नहीं है तो obviously, or take a deep breath, drink some water and then come back to it. Okay, just have a little break, just relax your brain a little. Okay, this might sound stupid to you, but trust me, this is the most important thing and this can be the game changer. Okay, कई बार होता है students के साथ में, just because of a little frustration they end up messing up with their entire question paper. Okay, chalo, so proceeding, now there is parasymbol again. Read questions carefully because nature of parasymbol and odd one out is similar, so they might ask you to decide which one is odd one out. Okay, and you might end up thinking ki odd one out ka hai, maybe you were solving odd one out and then you might feel ki nahi ye to kiska tha, and you will end up solving that. Okay, और फिर realize होगा कि नहीं, इसको तो coherent passes करना था, we decided which one will be the odd one out. So please, whenever it comes to odd one out and parasymbol questions, make sure that you read the question every single time. Again, odd one out, parasymbol. Okay, chalo, first let's go for solving certain questions. सबसे पहले करते हैं parasymbol. Okay, so first says that, and how it is given make all the difference cannot be our first sentence. Okay, she has discovered that her criticism are usually welcome and her suggestions are accepted courteously cannot be the first sentence. There are times when adverse criticism is justified. Okay, this can be the first sentence as it is introducing us with the topic, so we can expect कि हाँ कुछ तो, there has to be something which is talking about that how adverse criticism is being justified. Okay, I know a woman who speak out when she is dissatisfied but prefaces her complaints her recognition of some worthwhile achievement. She had discovered that her criticism are usually welcome. So one thing I can pretty sure of, that fourth will come first and second will definitely come after this. They can be because third is our first sentence, introducing us to the topic. Fourth one is introducing the women. Okay, and here we can say that she, it means we have already spoken. Remember, I told you the rule that if there is a pronoun, make sure that if there is a noun which is to which that pronoun is referring to, and that sentence containing noun will always come first. So one thing I know that fourth will come first after two. I don't know that first will be here, it will be here, or it will be here. Okay, that I don't know. But this sequence I have come up with. Now all I need to do is I need to decide where will first fall. Now, this has introduced to women, saying that but prefaces her complaint with recognition of some worthwhile achievements. They are actually, she has discovered that her criticism are usually welcome and her suggestions are accepted courteously. Okay, these two sentences are somehow related, talking about women only. Third is introducing us to the topic that adverse criticism is justified, and then we are saying how, and how it is given makes all the difference. Now, how it is given, now what is making a difference? So obviously here we came up with, so it means we must be talking about this only, hence come my answer. Okay, this particular question won't even take a minute, not even a single minute. Okay, so if you feel that you're solving such kind of questions like taking a minute, it means you need to increase your speed. Okay, this question is doable simply maybe in 40 seconds. That's it, just in 40 seconds. It means I saved a lot of time on that. So मैं बोल सकती हूँ ये कि for difficult question I roughly have 2 minutes with me, and for difficult RC I roughly have 10 minutes with me. Okay, so I hope this is justified to you. Any question, any doubt? Okay, you want me to explain 3-1, or you want me to explain again, Saili? Okay, so see, these two sentences are connected. So they second will come before, fourth one will come before second, and first is our answer. Okay, third is our introductory sentence. So hence it will come first. Now I'm left with that how it is given makes all the difference. Okay, so first of all, and is there, it means I need to have a connecting, I'm having a connecting word with me. So it means this is a continuation of that sentence. What makes all the difference, and what is making all the difference? There has to be certain action which is only given in the third, that adverse criticism is justifying, the adverse of justified. Because in these two sentences, we are not having any such action which is making a difference. So it is explaining, it has to address that action. So third. Okay, great, Saili, if you got it. Now, let's go for the next. I hope this one is clear to every single person. Next. This one is also more like a question which takes around, kind of 1 minute. So like odd one out, let's solve it. Catchy jingles, cute slogans, and cartoon characters are all key factors that have hooked my children on certain products. The more the commercial is, the more they want the toy. Advertising influence the toy they want, the clothes they wear, and the food they eat. For example, my 3-year-old desperately wants a skateboard for Christmas. Advertising has an influence on everyone in one or another, but it especially had an influence on my children. Okay, so when I read this particular question, okay, one thing which seems pretty clear to me, that I need to have fourth one. Fourth will be there because we are in the entire passage we are actually talking about advertisement and their influence, and this is introducing that it has an influence on everyone on one or other way, but especially it has influence on my children because it is talking about the children in the entire passage. So these are the 2 points discovered here. So in that case, fifth will be the first sentence, and moreover, it will be there because it is introducing to us. And then, as it is talking about the children, specifically to the children and how it has influenced my children, so this one justified it. That catchy jingles, cute slogans, and cartoon characters are key factors that have hooked my children because he's specifically talking about his own children. So this is relevant too. Now, the more the commercial is, the more they want the toy. Okay. The more the commercial is, the more they want the toy. Okay, this is again related that how these advertisements are influencing his own children. Toy and they. Who they? Children. So this is also relating. So I don't have any valid reason to eliminate. Fifth will be there for sure because वो तो introduce कर रहा है. So I don't have any valid reason to eliminate first and second because they are actually relating to our topic. Third says advertising influences the toy they want, the clothes they wear, and the food they eat. Okay, again, they is there. It means we are addressing to children. And again, so for example, my 3-year-old desperately wants a skateboard for Christmas. Okay, so here I can actually eliminate because this is again advertising and its influence on children. They is addressing to children. These are so all four are related, but here we are neither showing that how, because if we even try to justify that they might be influenced, so it is nowhere given that they are influenced and that 3-year-old kid wanted desperately that particular skateboard for Christmas because he got influenced of any particular advertisement. Okay, so it can be example only if we justify that why he wants it. Is it because of the influence of the advertisement? Hence, that's why we can easily eliminate fourth one because we are actually talking about advertisement and its influence on his own children. This is somewhere not related. This is just an example that my 3-year-old desperately wants a skateboard for Christmas. But how can we justify that this is because he's influenced out of that? True. So hence, fourth become my answer. This one will be the odd one out. I hope my point is clear to everyone. Am I clear? Okay, I'm hoping my point is clear with every single student. So we have solved one parajumble and one odd one out, and both were pretty easy. I mean, the kind of questions which will not even take 1 minute. They are doable like in seconds, and this one is doable like in single reading. One single, maximum 2 readings are enough to solve this. I mean, don't go for one single reading. That even I won't advise that you just solve a question just by single reading. Sometimes it can be a trap in which you may fall. So make sure that you read twice. Okay, so I know that there are 5 sentences and 4 become out of context like that. Now, this one is also odd one out and parajumble. Okay, now let's solve one summary. Okay, so up summary के लिए let's go for the very first one only. Now, this one because seems little complex, so let's solve this one. Socrates equated knowledge with virtue, which ultimately leads to ethical conduct. He believed that the only life worth living was one that was rigorously examined. He looked for principles and actions that were worth living by, creating an ethical base upon which decisions should be made. Socrates firmly believed that knowledge and understanding of virtue or the good was sufficient for someone to be happy. To him, knowledge of the good was almost akin to an enlightened state. He believed that no person could willingly choose to do something harmful or negative if they were fully aware of the value of life. Okay. Now let's see what we're supposed to do. We have to, followed by 4 alternative summaries, choose the best captures the essence of the passage. Okay. Now, the first option says that a well-lived life is the one that is lived by people who mean no harm. Okay. Now, first, say we can actually interpret that people who mean no harm to others may or may not live a life that is well lived. Okay, so uska do kahin na kahin contradict aa jata hai. So, this is what first is saying. Second, man's life depends on the choices he makes in life based on his level of awareness. So, nowhere in the passage, it talks about the level of awareness. Level of awareness ka we haven't spoken anywhere in the entire passage. So, I can clearly eliminate this one. Okay. Third is a sense of heightened awareness holds the key to a life of satisfaction. Okay. So, if you talk about the passage actually says that, about men being fully aware. So, heightened awareness is the key. So, for a moment, we can keep this like in an option. Fourth says the road to a fulfilling life was paved by principles and action regarded good by an individual. So, when we talk about the principles and action, they should be good and not regarded good for the individual concerned. So, when we see the sentence, he hooked the principles and action that were worth living, meant that these principles were universal and not individual. Okay. So, which one do you think will be the answer? Anyone? Any answer? Anyone who wants to go for any kind of answer? Third. Anyone? Wanna go for it? See, second we have easily eliminated. Second may there was nothing. Okay. So anyone who wants to come up with the answer? Third, okay. Third says a sense of heightened awareness hold the key to a life of satisfaction. Okay, Sally. Anyone else? No answer. Okay, chalo, let's proceed. Okay. So second, we have eliminated. When we talk about third, as Siley is answering, so when we say fully aware, it is given in the passage that one is fully aware. So we can say that we can actually relate it to the heightened awareness. It means one is fully aware. So it is heightened aware. So yes, answer will be third because here it is being justified. Somewhere this one is also raising a question that people who mean no harm may not live a good life. Okay, so we cannot simply come to this conclusion that a well life is the one who is lived by people who mean no harm. So hence a little doubt is there. This is more like a dubious one. Fourth is something we can say kind of a contradict. So hence third becomes my answer. I hope this one is clear to you. Any question, any doubt? Okay, so I'm assuming that there is no question and there is no doubt. Now, as we have solved, so if someone was talking about time, so let me just tell you that the time you need to solve each question. This question should ideally take like more than 1 minute, but less than 1.5 minutes. If I talk about this one, this is again a question you can actually complete like in, again, less than 1.5 minutes. Okay, not more than that, please. Now, this is again, this can be a little. So here you can take somewhere 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. This is the kind of question. Now, this should not take more than 1 minute. It means ideally this question is actually solvable between 40 seconds to 1 minute. Okay, 40 seconds to 60 seconds. This question is actually doable. So if you are taking more than that time, it means there is some problem with the speed. You have to increase it. If this question I talk about, this again, kind of 1 minute, not I would say 40 seconds, 1 minute somewhere. This question is again less than 1 minute, but not more than 1 minute. Okay, this questions again, these are the kinds of questions जो ideally जिनको एक minute ही लेना चाहिए था. Okay, so on an average we are actually dedicating and more than 2 minutes का एक भी question नहीं था. Okay, and again this can take like somewhere 1.5 minutes, this one and this two. Okay, so 1.5, 1 minute, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 questions are there. Ideally, we were on an average somewhere taking 1.5 minutes. So 8 question में on a rough figure, you can easily say that you can actually complete it in less than 15 minutes. I mean, मैं बहुत ideal, बहुत ही generous amount of time बोलूँ, but 15 minutes से भी ज़्यादा exceed हो रहा है, it means there is something you need to actually worry about. Okay, so ideally 10 to 12 minutes are enough to solve this particular type of questions if you specifically talk about it. So 10 to 12 minutes, more than enough. 15 is the like, I would say you are kind of a very average student if you are taking 15 minutes. If you are taking more than 15 minutes in solving these 8 questions, consider it giving in 2022. Okay, so that is something you need to, but ideally nahi jayega. I don't think कि किसी का भी जाएगा. So there is nothing you need to worry about. Now, out of 40 minutes, how much time we are left with? So 40 minutes हमारे पास में थे. उसमें से चलो हम ideally कितना हम लोग 15 minutes भी लेकर चलते, 15 minutes shifting the questions, marking the answer and everything. Okay, how much time we still have with us? 25 minutes. Generous amount of time for us to solve RCs. Yes, a significant time, you have to read the answer, then you have to mark it also, then you have to shift from one question to another. So उसमें time कहीं ना कहीं जाता है. So the generous amount, we still have 25 minutes. So अगर हम ideally, if we take, you are actually taking around 6 minutes for one particular question. Ideally, I'm sorry, that's it, 6 minutes. So 18 minutes में आपका पूरा हो रहा है, and we still have with us how much time? 7 minutes with us again. So हमारे पास में कुछ ना कुछ time है. So कहीं ना कहीं we can actually divide it. Or you can actually take 8 minutes, जितना हमने पहले बोला था. We actually spoke you will have to solve one RC, you have around 8 minutes. So do you really think that these are the questions you need to 8? So ideally अगर ये मौका बात करूँ, so इसमें से जो questions skip होते, that can be, out of 22, I would say around 20 questions are easily the kind of questions you can actually attempt. सच बता रही हूँ. So VA के questions सारे attempt होने चाहिए. Ideally you need to attempt all the questions of VA section. There is not even a single question which you're supposed to skip. Not even a single one. Okay. And if I talk about RC, again RC में हमारे पास में first RC is there, second and third RC is there. Third and first RC are the kind of RC which you need to attempt. Now there can be questions which you might leave in the second one. Okay. So ideally if you are expecting such kind of question, trust me, you can easily boost your score and you can easily expect 90 plus score. 90 plus percentile in this specific mock. Okay, easily. And some who are actually having great speed and pretty good accuracy they are coming up with, for them it is not actually difficult to score 95 plus or even 99 in this particular mock. Okay, so any question, any doubt you have with you? Any question, any doubt, any confusion if you have? So shall I assume that you people have no question or no doubt? Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this session, and I hope you have got at least a little from this particular mock analysis. And hopefully, you must have learned a little that how you need to approach for solving mocks, how you need to approach when you will be appearing in your examination. Okay, and all the best for your next session, and all the best for your next mock. Hopefully, we'll be having one more analysis, and hopefully, things will go accordingly. And maybe you will be scoring a little good, and maybe your score will boost significantly by these analysis. Okay, by the time, take care and keep practicing.